Good evening, young Padawans and Padawans. It is I, the one and only JT, here with you tonight, the Redneck. I also have the one and only Sully, the Geek, is here as well. Tonight, we're going over Ahsoka Episode 5. Episode 5 of Ahsoka. So, grab yourself something to drink or your favorite adult beverage, something to munch on. Jump in that easy chair, turn on the massager a little bit, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. If you're in the chat room, make sure you chime in with what you think about what we're talking about too, folks. You can always do that. Sully, it's all yours.
Oh, why, thank you, sir. Whoop, that's the wrong button. Ha, ha, ha. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Ewoks in the Park. As JT said, my name is Sully. I am the Geek, and he is the Redneck. And we are going to be talking about Ahsoka Episode 5. So, spoiler alert. Full throttle.
Holy crap. This is spoiler alert written in the freaking sky in permanent neon, blasting out rainbow color, rotating through everything, saying spoiler alert.
Saying warning, warning. You're all gonna die.
I mean, everything with this was epic.
Right.
That is the only word that you can describe this episode with, that would truly embrace it, is epic.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh my god. It took me a half an hour before I messaged you after I finally watched it.
Which is true,
because
by the way.
It took me that long to be able to pick up my phone and go, okay, where's Sully? My mind was literally blown by this episode.
It was awesome.
And not just one part or another part. It was the entire episode.
It was awesome.
I mean, it was it was crazy. I told you I was going to be freaking out on this thing when we talked tonight. So
you did. You were very honest with it. I'm just putting it out there that's what happened.
Although I might blow your mind with my rating tonight too. So
well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, when I drop a 2 on you, you're going to be like, say what? Or damn it.
Well, for one, I really doubt you're going to drop a 2. Okay. I really do. Because let's face it. The fact of the matter is there's absolutely no way you can give this episode a 2. There's no way.
Yeah, no.
There's no way.
I'm waiting for our buddy Ian to come in. I'm getting ready to message him. But I'm waiting for him to come in because he messaged me that night.
Uh-huh.
He messaged me Tuesday night. And
after the show, by the way.
No. This was during the show.
No, it was during. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And because he watched the episode and he's like, watched episode 5 of Ahsoka, excited for review on Monday, and then the smiley face going like that with tongue hanging out and everything like it's drooling. I mean,
there was a lot to this.
Well, I had to avoid Facebook basically.
You know?
I mean, it was great. There was a lot. And that's just it. It wasn't just one little thing here, one little thing there, one little thing over here, something way in the freaking background over there. It was in your face from go.
It was like,
from word go. It was crazy.
Help me.
So I will shut up and let you start the show now.
Oh, well, thanks. But in the meantime,
before I do want to say hi to our good friend Carol from Canada in the chat room, as well as Nikaya.
Yes.
And Nikaya, pass on a hi from all of us to Alex, please.
Oh, yes, please. Because why not? Why not? Of course, for some reason, our chat is not working. And I don't know.
It's working for me.
No, well, no, it's working, but it's not showing up on the screen. So for some reason, I don't know why, it's just not showing where it needs to be.
Okay. You mean okay. I got
Yeah,
you.
so like right next to me, right over there,
Mm-hmm.
it's not showing up, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. And that's okay.
Freaking Sully effect.
It happens every time. So anyway, so I do apologize, folks. So your comments cannot be seen at the moment. I honestly don't know why it's doing what it's doing, but this was a very, very detail-oriented show. Holy crap, was it detail-oriented. Because from start to finish, now this was one of the longer episodes.
52 minutes.
As JT brought it to my attention last week, this episode was actually going to be in some theaters.
Yes. Limited theater release.
Limited theater release, which is perfectly fine. They can do what they need to do. But this was so detailed. And I mean so detailed. To the point where Will, who just came in the chat room,
It says boom goes the dynamite.
he messages me and he goes, "Tell me what you think after you watch it." I'm like, "Gotta wait. I can't. No, I don't want to. I don't want to have the conversation until Monday because it gives you something to look forward to." I even said the same thing to Lady Death. She's trying to get me to talk about it. I'm like, "Chill. We'll talk about it in an hour." She messaged me at 7:10. I'm like, "Gotta wait an hour. Just, I know you don't want to wait, but you gotta wait an hour." Well, the conversation that Will and I had was, he asked me specifically, how important is the Clone Wars movie with the TV show and Ahsoka? And I told him at the time, pretty important. It is. It's pretty important.
Right. Will says, I can't wait no longer. Want to say hi to our good friend from across the pond, the one and only Captain Country, a.k.a. Neil. He puts casually strolls in from a concert, makes a cup of tea, and sits back in the back of the room. Morning, friends, and happy birthday, Mr. Sully.
Oh, I thank you, because for him, it's the 19th right now. So thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Birthday stream tomorrow starting at 8 p.m. Yes, we are going to do the stream. But so the importance of the Clone Wars movie, it's pretty important. I wouldn't say it's end of the world important, but it's still important for the backstory of Ahsoka. With that being said, after tonight, last week's episode, after episode 5, it is extremely important. Extremely important. Because not only do you have where Ahsoka first comes in, but you have all the Ahsoka-centric episodes in Clone Wars to now.
Right.
You have... Whoa. Rebels, also extremely important, because we start off the episode with General Syndulla, the Ghost, her son Jason, Chopper, and Hu Yang investigating the entire Stonehenge-like area that they have.
Well, she finds Hu Wang.
Well, yes, she knew he was there, but mostly because she knows that Ahsoka's ship is there and he's part of the ship. So she finds him on the edge of the cliff holding Sabine's helmet. Now, I specifically remember saying that episode 5 was going to be a heavy Anakin and Ahsoka story. And boy, was I right. Boy, was I right.
I would
So-
say about 60-40 split wise.
What,
But
that
it was still very heavy because of what happened in that 60%.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it was just.
It was
I'm
vital.
yeah. I just
Vital.
need to quit talking.
Yeah, it was vital. It really was. It was so vital, especially when we see Jason come out of the ghost and his mom say, "Yeah, you know, it's safe to come out. You know, you can do whatever you need to do." And Hui Yang flat out says he told them to stay together,
Mhm.
and then he
But
said they never
never
listened.
listen.
They never listen. JT and I never listened to each other either. But we know we last saw Ahsoka falling off the cliff.
Hmm.
We saw her wake up in the world between worlds. Lady Death says she likes that Jason kid. I have a feeling you're going to like him even more soon. Because I guarantee you they're going to be doing a story arc with him eventually. Not in Ahsoka, but eventually you'll see him as he's growing up.
Yeah, he will become an even more vital character.
Yes, absolutely. Now, with that being said, Ahsoka wakes up in the world between worlds. She sees Anakin and they start talking.
Hmm.
And she says to him, "You still look the same." And Anakin replies, "Well, you got old."
You never say that to a woman. That's
But-
not a smart thing to say to a woman.
But you got to remember something. He's older than her and
No.
he's dead.
I know,
So-
but still, you don't say that to a woman.
But the other thing is,
Well, wait. Nakaya has a question.
oh, okay. What's the question? What's the question? Hurry up.
While we're waiting for the question, I gotta
I'm
say
trying
this.
to move on.
I noticed one thing when just before they flashed to her, to Ahsoka, when Jason stepped down that one step.
You're skipping ahead. Nope, you're skipping ahead. You're skipping ahead. Trust me, you're skipping ahead. I know exactly what you're going to say. You're skipping ahead.
Like I said, I'll just quit talking. Might be easier that way.
We're going to get there, man. We're going to get there.
I know we will. I want to go to like 45 minutes. I just want to go there.
We're going to
Okay, in the world between worlds.
Yep.
Is the world between worlds just like purgatory between heaven and hell, or what?
Okay.
I called it what I call it? Euphoria.
So
Or not.
the world between where you're not wrong. You're not right either. The world between worlds is like you're actually in the Force. Okay? So is it purgatory? Yeah, you could probably say that. Is it heaven and hell? No. Is it
It's like
one?
it's kind of like the midpoint on your journey to wherever you're going is the interpretation that I got from this episode.
Yeah, well, to an extent.
You know,
Officially, they call it the Virgins Scatter. Okay?
limbo.
Yeah. It's the Virgins Scatter. So basically, it's a mystical plane
Mhm.
within the Force itself. Okay? Will says it's like Flashpoint, but for Jedi. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But it basically exists between time and space.
Okay, so question.
Yes.
Two-part question. Because it's for Jedi, does that mean it is also for the Sith and the dark side people? And in order to go to this place, do you have to be practicing in the Force, be it white or dark?
You have to kind of know how to do it.
Okay. So you have to know how to use it, basically,
Yeah.
in order to end up in a place like that. Gotcha. That's kind of what I was thinking.
So And the other thing with that is it's neither dark or light.
Right.
It's neither dark nor light. Can Sith go there? Yes. Can Jedi go there? Yes. Is it one's good and one's bad? No, it's not. But it links all of time together too. And this is where things are going to get really, really cool, because in this portion, in this setup with Anakin and Ahsoka, the first thing she says is, why did she come here? And Anakin reminds her that she lost her fight to Balin's skull, but she didn't actually die.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't.
Well, because he asked her, he says, you don't remember? And at first she said no.
Right.
And then he said something else. I can't remember exactly what else he said. I think it was when he said that he still had some training to give her or something.
Yes.
And then she said that she remembered fighting what's her name and Skull.
Yep.
And he goes, good. That means you still have a chance.
Yes, you still have a chance. And and like you said, he said that there was still training for her to do. Now you got to remember, when she left the Jedi Order, she was a Padawan.
Right.
He was still training her.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, I do want to say hi to our good friend Ian. He is at work, but he is listening right now.
Yay!
So he might shoot comments to me through Messenger that I'll pass on if he does.
Sounds good. Well, from there, the last time Ahsoka saw Anakin, that's the way he looked. He wasn't Darth Vader yet. Okay? He only turned into Darth Vader with Order 66 when he started taking out all the other Jedi.
Right.
Okay? He asks her, do you want to live or do you want to die? And he ignites the lightsaber and starts attacking her. This was pivotal, because a lot of people would be going like, Anakin's bad. Anakin's bad in this part. Notice the color of his blade was blue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
He wasn't Darth Vader. He was being her teacher.
Well, and the key thing that I found when in this realm and when dealing with Anakin specifically is watch his eyes.
Yes.
Watch his eyes, because when he first starts, yeah. When he first starts talking with Ahsoka, his eyes are normal.
Yes. Well, even when they were battling. Even when they were battling the first time, the eyes were normal.
Even when they're battling the first time, but as it goes on, and I don't want to get too far ahead.
You're right.
Just keep, watch the eyes.
Yep. Just keep an eye out on his eyes. And there was a reason.
In this case, in this case, the saying the eyes are the pathway to the soul, it applies.
Oh, it applies big time with this one. Okay? Because Ahsoka replies with, I don't want to fight you.
Yep.
And he says, I've heard that before.
Yeah, I loved it.
And he continues to go after her. So for him, as a Force ghost, he's trying to teach her something. Right. And he's trying to get to the point that he needs her to see. From there, we transfer back to the Stonehenge, and General Syndulla and the rest of the crew, they're searching for signs of Ahsoka. They're searching for Sabine. Huang is inspecting the fragments of the star map. They're destroyed. And he says it's beyond repair. There's nothing I could do about it. It's dead in the water. But he believes that they are on the Eye of Sion, which is true. We know this. We know it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Tiva comes in and says, hello, Senator Organa says she can't keep covering for you.
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
Basically.
Now, most of you were probably saying, well, wait a minute. What do you mean? Guys, this takes place 9 years after the Battle of Yavin. It takes place after Return of the Jedi. Okay? It takes place after Luke blew up the first Death Star and Lando and Wedge blew up the second. It's not a big time gap. It's not. It's a bigger time gap between Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi. That's a 20-year time gap. Well, 18. We'll say 18 to 20 years. Okay? So you figure this is...
We'll go right in the middle, 19.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Luke was 18 when he blew up the Death Star.
Right.
We know this. But Leia can't keep backing her up. Can't keep stalling. So, while she's talking to Tiva, Jason is trying to tell Hera something. He's like, Mom, Mama, Mom.
Right.
Mom.
Don't do it. Don't do it. don't do it. Yeah. Tomorrow, yes. Tonight, no.
Mama. Pay attention to me. That's what he, and don't get me wrong, he didn't like stress the, mom. It was just like,
right.
Mom, I gotta tell you something. And he says to her, there's something in the water. I can sense it.
Right.
And
well, when he calls her initially, her reaction is understandable.
Yep. It's the mom saying, hold on, kiddo.
Right. She's talking with him and he's bringing up this, rather important thing that's going on. And she's like, okay, give me a second,
Listen, the adults are talking.
Right. Pretty much. Yeah. But before we go any further, what I wanted to say earlier when you stopped me was not here. It was back there when I wanted to talk about it. When he stepped down on that first step, did you notice when he stopped, it was like he hit a wall?
Yeah, because he was using the Force.
Yeah. Yeah, when he took, but it was weird the way it happened, because when he stepped down on it, one step was like, it was like he hit a wall.
Yeah.
And that's what stopped him, not that he voluntarily just wanted to go down that one step. That was kind of weird. But as soon as I saw that, it clicked in my head. That's right.
Yeah.
He's Force sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that. It's something that can very easily slip your mind, because right now up to this point, he hasn't played but a few cameo scenes.
Yeah.
So, that kind of, that little moment kind of said, oh yeah, that's right. He can feel this stuff.
Yep.
So,
but here's the thing, and this is a very important part, because this goes back to what I've been saying for a while and what Ahsoka has been teaching Sabine. Because when he says there's something unusual in the water, she doesn't hear anything but water. It's all she hears.
Right.
And he says, no, close your eyes and listen.
Right.
And he says, I can hear fighting.
Yeah, because I like the way he said it, because he says you have to listen to the water.
Yep.
Not listen to the waves, not listen to the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to the water.
Yep.
Can't you hear it?
And that's when she closes her eyes and focuses, and she can hear the lightsabers too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she says, what am I listening for? He says, you can't hear the lightsabers.
You can't hear the lightsabers.
And that's when that was a really cool scene, Because that, to me, that means she's a little bit force sensitive as well.
The Force is in all living things.
Right. But those who practice it,
Yes.
obviously, feel it more kind of thing. Or
absolutely.
whatever. But anyway, you know what I mean.
So after she starts hearing it, she tells Tiva, get up, go, get out there. We need to search for them.
Low-level scans.
And let's do a full sweep of the ocean, low altitude. Let's see what we can find. And
But we already did that.
yeah, well, that's the thing. They've done it multiple times. But
We
Tiva even
already did
says, what's going on? And Hu Yang says to Tiva, Jason has abilities because his father, Kanan Jarrus, was a Jedi.
Yep.
And that's when Tiva starts, you can see Tiva went, I'm not questioning it.
Okay.
He went, which was cool. That was cool.
Everybody, get everybody up and going.
Because he knows. He knows because he fought alongside Luke. He's an X-Wing pilot. Leia is force sensitive. Hello? Let's do the math. So now we go back in time in the world between worlds where Ahsoka and Luke.
It was cool how he did it, though.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
He literally cut the path out from under her.
Yep.
I'm like, oh shit, she's dead. That was my first thought when he did that. I was like, shit, she's dead now.
But it was so cool because he's smiling after he did that. He's smiling, saying, I haven't taught you everything. This the boom, tricked her. But when she wakes up, she's her younger self. Now, side note, her younger self, the outfit she's wearing is not the outfit she made a debut in. Her debut, she was actually in a tube top. Very little armor. We don't know why. It just that's the way it was. Okay. But she's wearing the outfit she's wearing currently.
Right.
Okay. So that's a thing. Lady that says Ahsoka and who, Sully? You said Luke. I said Luke a little while ago. Pay attention.
Yeah, I'm not sure about which
I also
time
said
she was talking
Skywalker.
about.
So you may have to rewind and find out. But the cool thing about this is now we're seeing the first battle that her and Anakin were ever a part of. And the clone troopers wearing the armor from the movie Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Again,
when the first trooper went by, you could tell it was an armored suit, but for me, I couldn't make the distinction on the first guy. First guy that went by as you were watching it, he went by on the left side.
Yep.
But he was far enough away and it was still cloudy or smoky enough that you couldn't really tell. Was that a stormtrooper?
Nope.
Or was that one of the good guys?
Yep. Nope. That was a clone trooper.
And then the second guy came through and okay, that was a clone trooper. Okay.
Because for Anakin and Ahsoka, they were the generals of the 501st Legion.
Right.
Which everybody knows, 501st, they do some great things nowadays. And they're awesome. They are named after this legion. Yep. But the cool thing, and this is where I absolutely love where Dave Filoni is going with this. Anakin was wearing the armor from the Clone Wars movie and the TV show. So, when I say the movie is now extremely important, this is why. Right. Because this was just a huge flashback bringing everything full circle between Anakin and Ahsoka.
but keeping her in her same outfit.
But right now, the other thing is, if you didn't notice, by the way, the wonderful actress who was playing young Ahsoka is the same actress who played a young Gamora in Avengers Infinity War. Don't you just love working for Disney sometimes? You automatically get a lot of work. It's wonderful.
Yeah, if you do it right, you'll automatically get a lot of work.
True. But Ahsoka doesn't understand why they're at her first mission with him.
Right.
She doesn't understand it. And she says to him, well, he says to her, the problem is, as they, are going into battle, her lightsabers are green.
Mm-hmm. His is blue.
His is blue.
Yep.
But she wants the answers, and they're running full force into battle. Okay. During like a little bit of a lull, they're able to, chill out a little bit. They're at the encampment. She's kind of caring for one of the clones.
She's comforting him.
Yeah. And head is all bandaged up. You can't really see much, but the hand grabs hers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Anakin says, okay, there's more droids coming. We got to go.
Yeah.
There's more approaching,
The battle is still on.
Yes. But she says to him, as she's still, what's the word I'm looking for? Somber? Somber sounds like a good word for it. Because really,
she's on the serious side of it where he's not.
He's on the warrior side of things.
Right. Yeah.
We got to keep going. But she's on that's all I have ever known is being a warrior. Which
I liked when she said the line, "Is this all I'll have to teach my Padawan?"
Yeah.
And I liked his reaction too.
Yeah.
Do you want a Padawan?
But But the other thing is, and this was what I thought was really deep when it came to that, aside from that quote, which I believe is a little bit later on. But she says that the Jedi are not meant to do this. They're keepers of the peace.
I think she said something like, aren't the Jedi supposed to be peacekeepers?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes. But he reassures her and affirms to her that we're Jedi. We're not perfect. Mistakes and losses happen.
Well, and another thing that he said was you have to adapt to the times and the circumstances.
Yes.
Which is why he was trained as a warrior as well. And why he is training her to be a warrior.
Yes. And believe me, I've said it before, a lot of the stuff when it comes to Order 66, the reason she survived was because of his training. And we've seen that. We've seen, the one-offs and stories. But he also tells her that by pushing that fighting, it basically makes him survive. Because if you think about it, in war, what are you doing? You want to get through to make it to the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But, and this was cool. I loved this. As he's going into battle, you see a flash of Darth Vader in the smoke.
Right. Yeah. Ian said two things. One, he said that the actress that played young Ahsoka was, and this is in all caps, amazing.
She is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. Definitely.
That girl is going to have a huge future ahead of her.
Right. And I love the scene that you're talking about here because it piqued my interest as well.
Mm-hmm.
when she's like, well, what if I don't feel like what if I don't want to fight? Well, then you die.
You're going to die.
And he walks off towards the battle. There's a bomb explosion, and he changes to Darth. There's another bomb explosion. He changes back to Anakin.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
another one. He changes back to Darth. Ian says that when we see that, it is showing that Anakin is literally the balance of the Force.
Yes.
Which is why he switches back and forth.
Absolutely, he is.
Yeah, which I thought was, and I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was representing the balance of the Force. So now, hearing that, knowing that, and thinking back to that scene, it makes sense. And what happens when we go back to the World Between Worlds makes even more sense.
Oh, yeah. And we'll get there. Because if you think about it, this whole entire series is eye-opening to the Force.
Yes.
And to what it can do. Okay?
I want to say goodnight to Carol real quick.
Good night,
She is on her way out. She said, see you
tomorrow. It'll be fun. Well, from there, we're back at the henge. Jason and Chopper are there. Jason's, doing his Force thing. Tiva and the X-Wings are flying low. They're scanning the water. We see Syndulla and Huyang on the Ghost doing the same thing and saying, hey, Tiva goes, just so you know, our fuel reserves are starting to go down. We've done a full extension of the sweep here, and we're not showing anything what's going on.
She's like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate it, but let's keep looking. And Hera then reveals the unauthorized nature of the mission to Huyang, and she also says to herself if she really is chasing ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to her that her caring and steadfast nature is why people like her.
And why they follow her.
And they listen and they do whatever. And he also says, by the way, there's still a chance that we find Ahsoka. Because she has a tenacious natural like tenacity as well. I forget the exact words. Please. But that's when he starts talking about Anakin, which was
because she actually asked him to.
Yes,
because I never met him. What was he like?
Yes, and he flat out said that he was intense. That's all he said. He didn't badmouth him. He didn't rip him a new one. He just said he was intense. Which, if you think about it, he was. Anakin was very intense. He's a hothead.
Yeah. He had to be.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But then Jason calls the Ghost saying that Chopper picked something up on his scanners. And waited for the, it's very low. You got to get the coordinates. Here they are, go find it.
And you're going to have to fly low.
Yes, you're going to have to fly as low as you can.
Well, they're like, well, how low? Well,
pretty low.
We don't know just yet.
Pretty low. Practically in the water itself.
Yeah. If you can submarine it, go for it. Hey.
Well, from there, we're back in the World Between Worlds, and Ahsoka is living through her past, only this time she's battling Mandalorian super commandos.
Yep, the Siege of Mandalore. I didn't catch that at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
First time I watched it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Did she just say? I actually rewound it.
Oh, you did?
I did. Because I wanted to make sure I heard what my brain said I heard 10 seconds after I heard it.
Yep.
So I actually rewound it. It was the Siege of Mandalore, which was so huge.
Yes. Which, if you haven't watched the Siege of Mandalore, watch it. Because that, what was it, 5 or 6 episode arc was all about Ahsoka. It was all her, the Siege of Mandalore. You've got, what's her name from, God damn it. I forget her name.
Brain cramp.
There's so many people. You had Bo-Katan.
Right?
You had Rex, who was a part of it. And Rex is Ahsoka's right-hand clone. Okay? We know he's still alive, by the way. But prominent with the Siege of Mandalore. And this is also when she fought Darth Maul and kicked his ass. Okay?
Ian says it was a 4-episode arc.
4 episodes. Okay. Well, no. So, yes, the Siege of Mandalore is 4 episodes, but the whole last half of the 7th season was all Ahsoka. It was all Ahsoka. So if you really want to get into it, it takes place after she had left the Order. She's been, wandering around for a little bit. She's on Coruscant, and then gets called back up to help with the Siege of Mandalore as an advisor, which also known as she's going to go and kick some ass. But did you notice all of the Mandalorian armor that they had? How it was red and blue. Because
on the helmet,
the masks and the armor. Oh yeah.
Right.
Because the red were the Death Watch.
That's right.
And if you don't know Death Watch by now, go back and watch Mandalorian because the children of the Watch are there. Just saying. 2 and 2 together. But
makes 5.
Anakin says to her, "What battle is this? I don't know what this is. I don't recognize
I don't recall this."
And the cool thing is, his outfit's changing every single time.
Yeah.
Because as they're going up, he's got longer hair. He's got the scar on his face now. He doesn't have the armor on. He's in his normal Jedi clothing. And she says to him that this is the Siege of Mandalore. You were not there. We had parted ways. And the first thing he says was, "You did good. You did good, kid. Way to go. Way to go."
Well, and for me, there's the part just before he comes in where, the guy says, "Well, I can't remember exactly what he said, but we'll push him back," or whatever it is. And he turns around and takes off.
Yep.
And she just stands there.
Yes.
But if you look at her stance, and if you look at the power in her stance,
Oh, yeah.
you can tell she's been through the shit. She's not the same kid. She's not even a kid anymore that you saw in the first battle of the Clone Wars.
Yeah. No, she was
She totally changed.
I think by the time Order 66 came around, I think she was like 17 or 18.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you could just tell by her stance, by the way that she talked and everything, that she was not the same person that she was before. You could see the growth.
According to her canon story, she was 17 when the Clone Wars ended. So you can tell, she's been through hell and back.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And then she starts, Anakin actually starts saying that she is a culmination of everything that he's done.
Yep.
She's his legacy. And she replied with, even if it's just one of death and war.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all she's known.
Right. And she all, when he said that, he also said, just like, I inherited Obi-Wan's,
Yep.
and walked back.
Yeah.
Saying that, each Padawan inherits everything from their master.
Yep. And it gets
from their
passed
teacher,
on. Which is true. Which is 100% true.
But I like the way, that's another way that they tie everything together again. And it's just neat how they do that. They tie it together and then they separate it. And then they tie it all back together again and separate it all
back in.
It's neat the way this whole series has been going.
Yes.
With the way they've been doing that.
Now, this is when it gets better. Like, how can you already top what we've been seeing so far with her and Anakin? And then she mentions to him about his fall. And he says to her these words. Is that what this is about?
Those words sent chills down my spine.
And
wasn't the words.
But then he says this, and I specifically wrote this down.
Right.
Let's go back to the beginning. I gave you a choice to live or to die.
Yeah.
And he turns on his lightsaber and it's red.
Yeah. But what got me, what I was saying was when he said, God damn it. What was the line again that he just said? The very first line?
Live or die?
No. At the beginning of this. Is that what this is about?
Is that what this is about? Yep.
When he said that, it wasn't the words.
It was the way he said it.
It was the way he said it. It was his stance and the way the expression on his face instantaneously changed.
Yes.
It was like all of a sudden, boom, here's the dark side.
And once he starts igniting that blade, he starts attacking her. And she's like, I'm not fighting you. But Skywalker just goes at it. And the two of them, it's a fight or flight thing.
And Nakia says, it made you think, oh, shit. I would, that's a good way of putting it.
Now this was a really cool transition because as they were fighting and he kicks her and goes into the clouds and into the darkness, she comes back out as an adult, world between worlds.
Lands on I call it a sidewalk. Lands on the sidewalk in the world between worlds.
He comes walking out of the cloud, and every time there was an explosion or a blast or something, you saw the shadow of Darth Vader and the lights and everything. And it was phenomenal how they did that.
And the attention to detail. The lightsaber changing colors that fast.
Yep.
Nakia says he flickers.
He flickers.
That's exactly what it was. It was a flicker. And it's just, and that's why I say, that this episode from beginning to end was epic.
Yep.
Because these little things that you wouldn't think about, that if you're just watching it as a casual watcher, you're not going to see. You're not necessarily going to catch them.
Yep.
And it was just like, wait a minute, did I see? And I did. Did I see what I just, wait. And then it happened again.
How many times?
I just saw it. Will says bug zappers.
Not wrong.
It's what it was like. Zap.
Yeah, every time. And it
was wild.
The thing was, like, I can't tell you how many times I rewound it just to see how well they tied as much as they could together in this episode. Like, I literally went backward just to see. I'm like, son of a bitch, that was great.
Well, and this is where there was this huge debate online, and this is where why I referenced the eyes.
Yep.
Specifically in these battles.
Sure.
And well, I got to wait till we get to the
end,
the end of the fight. So I'll shut up.
And that's okay, because we're getting there. Because as they're dueling, he is just attacking her and getting angry.
And like Skull did. I caught that reference. He attacked her with the power attack.
Yes.
Just like Skull did.
But she is also not giving it her all. She's not, because she doesn't want to fight him. That's her master, not Darth Vader. That's her master. But as he's continuing to beat down upon her lightsabers, he says it's time to die. And she outmaneuvers him, grabs his lightsaber, holds it to his neck, and then, instead of killing him, drops it.
Yeah.
Drops it off the walkway into the void. Gone.
Well, and the tricky thing about that, though, is in that little series, he disarms her.
Oh, yeah.
So she doesn't have his, and that's when he says, it's time to die. And I love the maneuver that she did.
Yep. That was a great maneuver.
Where she freaking somehow she spun around and underneath the saber and came up behind him.
Yep.
But earlier in the battle, I don't remember exactly what scene it was in the fight, but their sabers hit. And this has been the debate online because her eyes turn yellow for a second.
So,
and the debate online is this where she goes to the dark side? Is this just because of the combination of the colors of the lights and the sparks and everything else? And, is this where she decides to stay on the good side and blah, 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 and all this other stuff? I don't really think it matters in that little scheme of things, because I don't think she changed. When people, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I hate to go on this tangent, but I have to. When people make a decision to go to the dark side, it's an obvious change.
Yes.
In the person, in their personality, in the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they think, the way they move. Everything changes about them.
Yes.
She didn't change.
So here's the thing. If you look very closely, yes, her eyes do turn red. Now, with that being said, there was a point in time where she almost turned to the dark side.
Correct.
In the Clone Wars. But in this case, and I know the still frame that they're showing. And the still frame is when she has his blade. I honestly do not think it was a matter of her turning to the dark side in that short moment.
Right.
It was more because her eyes are blue. Plus the red blade and the lighting, it made the contacts like an orange red type color.
Right. Ian actually piped in on this one. Which means I kind of brought up a good point. I'm in shock. But he says, in his opinion, like you, it was just the reflection of the saber into her blue eyes.
Yes.
She did not change to Sith eyes. And I rewound that a lot.
Did you now?
So he did the same thing you did.
Yeah. And the reason I did that was mostly because I needed to, I don't want to say see it for myself, but more along the lines of prove it And I wanted to show the picture because it was part of what we've been discussing. So here is the picture itself. Okay. And just because I wanted to make sure that the mouse was on so you could see. Here's her eyes. Okay. Yes, they have that red tint from the blade. Look at your lighting. Okay, look at how you've got your drop shadows on the other side of the face because of the light from where they are. But if you look at the contacts, they're still blue around the outer edge. So to me, I don't think this was a brush with the dark side. I think it was more just a reflection from the lightsaber because of the contacts that she's wearing, because her eyes are that blue. And
do you think maybe that was just something that was a lucky happening in the filming of it?
Yes.
Or do you think that was something that was done on purpose?
I think it was, well, it was obviously done on purpose because you have to, the lighting says something. Okay. Angle of lighting always says something. So to me, I don't think it was a brush with the dark side because she's been there. She's done that. She saw
and
what
that's
it
why I
did
say
to
her
magic.
personality didn't change.
Right. That's her personality didn't change. She didn't get angry. She chose to live.
Yep.
Because that's what she wanted. She doesn't live by the Jedi code.
Right.
Just remember that.
She's not a Jedi. That's why her blades are white.
Well,
actually, I had to explain that to Kay. And if you hadn't have explained it already, I wouldn't have known how to explain it to her. Just like when you're training as a Jedi, your blades are green.
Blue.
Which they were in,
Blue and
her
green.
blades were, her blade. Oh,
yes.
is it either or? I thought maybe it was training, it was green. And then once you graduated or whatever, then your blade turned blue.
No, because originally she went from one lightsaber to two. And then,
but in the first Clone War, her blades were green.
Yes, when she first started, her blade was green. Yes,
right. Yeah, and then as it went up, they changed. I think twice.
Yeah, and people have different meanings for the different color blades, but that's a topic for another day because it'll be so far of a tangent, it's not even funny. Right. Because we're already at that tangent as it is. So from where we are now with her grabbing the lightsaber and turning it off, dropping it into the depths and the, where he can't reach it. She says, I choose to live. And he just smiles, bows his head to her, looks up at her. His eyes turn back to normal. And says,
walks away.
There's hope for you yet.
Turns around and walks away.
And as she turns around, you can still hear the mumbling of the world, not even the mumbling, more the rumbling of what's going on around her in the world between worlds. And he just disappears.
Yeah. They kind of, she blocks the screen and then they kind of scan to the side a little bit and you see he's gone.
Yep.
I thought that was really cool.
That was great. It really
and then the light comes on from above.
Yep.
She starts hearing the waters and everything. And another cool thing that they did, so many movies and so many shows that we've seen where somebody's been somewhere where the water just comes up.
Yes.
I love how she did not panic.
Nope, she didn't panic at all.
As the water got up to her neck, she laid her head back and closed her eyes.
Ah, what are you forgetting?
I don't know.
Ah, shame on you. You missed it then.
Okay, what did I miss?
As they were pulling her out of the water, she whispers,
Anakin twice, but that's not the point I was talking about because that was before they found her.
But she's just in the water. She can't say anything anyway.
Right. But she just, I love the fact that she didn't panic. She was perfectly calm in a moment that most people would freak.
True. But
You
then
know,
again,
because that's the moment where she starts to realize subconsciously
yeah.
she's underwater. And then the lady jumps into the water and grabs her.
Yep, Lieutenant Jensu, to be exact. Yes, every character has a name. Even the aliens in the background have names.
Yeah, but the dumbass redneck don't know them all. So
Neither do I. There's so many. There really is. There's so many. But as as they pull her aboard, she whispers Anakin's name, and she basically passes out. And then she wakes up. She wakes up on her ship one full rotation later because Hu Yang says, "Welcome back."
one full rotation. How long was I out? One full rotation.
One full rotation. And he catches her up to speed on things, telling her that Sabine may be lost for good. But if not for Jason, you wouldn't be here. Well. You wouldn't be here.
Yep.
And she comes out and she thanks Jason. And this was cool. Hu Yang takes him to take a look at the T6 shuttle, which is a Jedi shuttle. And he takes him into the training area. And the entire time they're walking,
he's asking questions.
He's asking questions about the Jedi. Are you going to train me? Kid. Are you going to touch? Can I touch this? Can you teach me how to do this? No. Can
you know how to make a lightsaber? Yes. Can you teach me? No.
And he's just answering all these questions. But that's when Ahsoka starts experiencing the echoes.
Mm-hmm. Before we go any further,
yep,
I have to know.
Mm-hmm.
Does her clothing, especially the white poncho,
yep,
represent anything, or is it purely by coincidence?
As of now, it's coincidence. Mostly,
but it will have significance in future, probably.
Mostly because the clothing that she was wearing was completely drenched, so they had to change her clothes.
But you know, I mean, come on, she comes out in all freaking white.
Yes. Think of it
I've
as
been curious about that.
Think of it as a Gandalf the White reference.
That's what I was wanting to know. That's exactly what I was wanting to know. Did it represent anything? So to me, it's kind of like, you know, Gandalf went through the trial, came out as a winner, wearing white. She went through her trial, came out as a winner, wearing white.
And in reality, it's just that her clothes were wet and she needed a change of clothes.
But this is Star Wars. Nothing has just one meaning.
There's a reason for everything. What that reason is, no idea. But that's when we also see Ahsoka using the Force to hear the conversation between Sabine and Baylan Skoll and how she went with them to the Eye of Sion willingly and is alive. At that time, Tiva shows up and says, "Hey, the fleet's coming. We're in trouble." Just so you know.
Right.
Just so you know. And Ahsoka looks up and sees the pod of the Purgle passing overhead. And she says she's got an idea.
I have decided that I am calling them octowhales.
Octowhales?
Octowhales. Because they're half octopus, half whale.
Okay. But they're Purgles.
I don't care. I'm calling them octowhales.
Okay. Well,
I won't remember Pergola.
Yeah.
I'll remember octowhales.
So while this is all happening, General Syndulla and Tiva are meeting with Senator Mon Mothma, which we've seen. We've seen her not just in Andor, but in Return of the Jedi, and now in this. And she says, you know, unfortunately, without any evidence of Imperial remnants or Grand Admiral Thrawn's return, there's little that she can do. and she needs them to go to Coruscant for a hearing of by the Senate Oversight Committee, whether or not Syndulla will still be a general or not. And the only way that she'll probably still be a general is if Ahsoka joins them.
The only way she might have a chance,
Yeah,
is Ahsoka's testimony.
Chance. Just a small chance. But Ahsoka says, I know how to find Sabine. Let's go do it. And this was so cool. I absolutely loved this because this whole scene, and we're going to sum it up very quickly. You know, we don't need to go through all the detail of the dialogue and everything, but
holy crap, man. I mean, there's no words for this scene.
Yeah, this was cool. Now, mind you,
I was speechless.
We've seen Jedi talk to animals before. We have. Mm-hmm. We've seen it in the new trilogy. We've seen it in Clone Wars. We've seen it. Okay? It's not new. But
and not necessarily talk to them, but communicate with them.
Using the Force.
And there's a little bit of a difference.
Yes.
Between the two, you know, and I think it's vital to make that designation because of what she says.
Yes.
In reply to Hu Wang's question.
Yes. And what I really loved with this was when General Syndulla asked Ahsoka if the Purgle know what the hyperspace coordinates are that will lead them to Sabine. And she goes, well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go ask.
Right.
So the squad of X-Wings, the Ghost, Ahsoka, they all go up in the air, and at the same time, the fleet is arriving. And Ahsoka decides, all right, let's go to it. Let's find the biggest Purgle out there, because that's the one we need to talk to. That's the one we need to have this wonderful conversation with. And she goes out onto the hull of the shuttle and starts to communicate with the creature. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything. She doesn't use her hand to touch the nose or anything like that. All you hear is that low, like, whale hum.
Whale song.
Yeah. And once they start doing that, Teva says, the fleet's going to be here, just so you know. And General Syndulla goes, don't approach. Whatever you do, don't approach.
Cannot fight in the pod.
You're going to frighten the Purgle. Don't do it. And, of course, outside the atmosphere, Captain Gerard, on her ship, says, well, let's go, guys. But Teva goes, no, we're stalling a little bit. We got to stall. Because this is too much. You're going to hurt
the
them.
Entire back and forth.
Yeah.
The entire back and forth in this is great.
Oh, it reminded me. It reminded me of what a smart ass pilot would do to the enemy.
Well, and you know, like in Tom Cruise when he flew over, you know, when he rolled over, you know, where they were like this, the two planes were like this, and he took a picture.
Yep.
That's what that scene was.
And
it was the big screw you for as long as they could.
Yep. Now, before Gerard can activate the tractor beam to get all the ships, Teva goes, that's not the plan. Don't do it. You're gonna screw it up.
Well, he finally says, okay, I will tell you what's going on. I will tell you what the mission is.
Tell you what it is.
But you're not going to believe it.
Right. Until you see it. Until you see it. And this was a really cool tie-in, because Jason asks his mother if Ahsoka was trying to talk to the Purgle.
He's really going to talk to him.
And he remembers the stories that she told him.
Right.
How the Purgle took Ezra and Grand Admiral Thrawn away to save the rebels.
I think it was his exact words were Ezra and the bad man.
Yep. Ezra and the bad people, or the bad guys,
Yep.
or
Bad
whatever.
guys, yeah.
And
I mean, go ahead.
this was the cool part. So if you have not seen the end of Rebels, you need to watch the end of Rebels. It is 100% important as of this scene. Okay. Now, with that being said, Ahsoka reaches out and the Purgle opens its mouth, and Ahsoka says, "All right, get in the mouth." We're going.
Well, it was cool though, because just to kind of go back a little bit, just before he opens his mouth, they flash to that scene where they're behind the Purgle's eye, or the Octawhale's eye.
Yep.
And you literally see the eye turn to look towards Ahsoka.
Yes. Which was awesome.
It was like, you know, when you talk to somebody, person to person, you look at each other.
Yes.
And I was like, that was cool.
Now,
A very, very minor thing, but huge in the scheme,
oh, without a doubt.
you know.
Without a doubt. And from there, Hugh Yang is bringing the ship in, and she goes into the ship, and he says to her, so did they say where we're going? And she goes, no idea.
No idea. And I love her next line too.
It is, what was it? They could take us anywhere, but anywhere is better than nowhere.
Better be going somewhere
Yep.
than going nowhere. I love that line.
Ahsoka apologizes to Hera. Sorry, I can't make the trip. Syndulla assures her that it was all right, as her son is too young to travel between galaxies. That
excuse.
was very motherly of her.
But you notice the rolled eyes that Jason gave her.
Yes, absolutely. And we see the Purgle are now flying up through the atmosphere, and the fleet is going, holy shit, what the hell is this?
Well, Hera calls him and says, you might want to move your fleet.
You might want to move, because you just might want to slide over there. And she says to her, I promise that she will find Sabine and Bridger and bring them home.
Yep.
Then the Purgle go into hyperspace. Now,
Like Nakia says, hyperdriving space whales whose butts glow blue.
not wrong. Now, here is where things are interesting. And here's why I say this. Because if you were paying attention very closely, when they all go into hyperspace, and it's all, that whole pod of whales went into hyperspace, every single one of them.
Yep.
I distinctly remember a certain episode of The Mandalorian. I believe it was season 3, not too long ago,
Okay.
where we have actually covered this, where Grogu was sitting
The Mandalorian. Yep.
in his little seat on the ship.
Episode 1.
Yep.
It
At
was
light
episode
speed.
1, season 3.
At light speed.
Yep. And he looked off to the side, and what did we see? The shadow scared me.
Put two
What in
and
the hell
two,
is that?
but put 2 and 2 together, and what do you got? Timelines connected.
Yeah.
He saw
It's really
Ahsoka.
cool.
He sensed her. He sensed her.
Ooh.
Think about
That's
it.
why he looked.
Uh-huh. That's why he looked.
Good possibility.
Very, very big possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Death says he saw hyperdriving space whales who have blue butts. Yeah, but he looked at them. He saw them.
Yep.
Mando couldn't see them. He could.
I think Mando was sleeping.
He was. But
yeah, he was sleeping at that
saw and sensed Ahsoka in those Purgle. So we are now connected once again, if you think about it. Now, we do have to finish up.
Yes.
Because we've already 15 minutes over. That's what happens when JT has questions and goes on tangents. And it's great. It is great.
I'm not going to apologize.
No,
I don't care if we talk for 2 hours.
Don't apologize, my friend. Don't apologize. Because think of it this way. You are always a Star Wars fan, right?
Yes.
But you have so much more of an understanding of the lore of Star Wars now than you ever have.
Well, I was never able to get as involved in it. I couldn't buy comic books,
right,
and all these things as a kid, and all that shit. So I was never able to really. I wasn't able to be like you, basically, and be able to have all this past knowledge.
Yes.
From growing up and reading the comic books and Nikaya. Thank you, Nikaya. I am glad that you're proud of me. I'm proud of me.
I'm proud of you.
And it's I have grown a lot in the Star Wars universe, and even more in the Marvel universe, if you think about it.
Yes.
Over these past, a little over a year ago that we started doing this.
It's true.
So
it's true,
but it's amazing,
my friend. It is an odd episode.
Oh my God!
Which means
it's an odd episode, so I get to go first.
Yep.
I tell you.
How many lightsabers do you give this episode?
6.
Whoa!
I want to go 7, but I'll just go 6.
You added an extra one. Holy crap.
You have to. With what they did in this episode.
Yes.
I don't care if you have a 1 to 10 rating scale. It's got to be a 12.
Wow.
With what they did in this episode, and this is exactly what I told you. I see why they released this in theaters.
Yes. It was big.
From the word go, this entire episode was epic. I knew it was going to be good because we were going to be involved in the war between worlds.
Yes.
So I knew it was going to be big. No doubt about it. It was bigger than anything I could have imagined. The conversations, the flashbacks to the 2 different scenes of Clone Wars.
Yep.
The fights with Anakin. The 2 different fights with Anakin. The lessons that she learned. The fact that Jason found her.
Yes.
But the most epic scene, and I will never be able to get it out of my head. And this is what pushed it over the top. The guy says, damn, I really need my big screen TV back. Yes, you do. When you get it, rewatch this episode. Was when they went up and they were getting ready to talk to the whale, and she walked out on the side of the ship.
Yep.
And excuse me, this is the only way I can describe this. But when that fucking Purgle came up and just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger
that was
bigger.
A big one.
Dude, I was breathless. I was on the edge of my seat. I damn near fell out of my seat, and I was speechless.
Speechless. Oh boy.
I was speechless, and it is almost impossible to make me speechless.
That's a good thing.
That scene was so freaking epic. So amazing. The details of this whale as it's coming up and seeing just how small Ahsoka is compared to it.
Well, yeah.
The other cool thing that I noticed that I don't know if a lot of other people noticed or not. every time we've seen the Purgles to this point, they've all been going in the exact same direction. They've all been moving, not necessarily in a line, but, obviously in a large group. Okay. Yep. When they went to talk to the Purgle, what did the others do? They didn't keep going. They went into a circle pattern.
Yeah. They were protective.
They circled the wagons.
Yeah.
Waiting for their leader, just like animals do in real life.
Yeah.
In a herd of buffalo, in a flock of wild mustangs, I don't care what kind it is. There's a leader. And if the leader stops, everybody else stops and goes into a protective type pattern.
Certainly does.
Their attention to details. The flickers in the Clone Wars as Luke was walking towards the battle and Ahsoka was standing there. Darth, red sword, red saber. Back to Anakin, blue saber. Yep. Back to Darth, red saber. I could talk for an hour, dude, on everything in this episode. This episode was so epic, there is no way I could just give it a 5.
It was awesome.
I have to give it a 6. So there you go. I'll shut up now. What did you give it? I know you gave it 5 at least.
I did. Top of the scale. I'm giving it a 5. It was very well written, very well done. I cannot complain about this because not only does it progress the story of Ahsoka, not only does it progress what we left off with Rebels, but it adds to it, and it's pissing off Star Wars fans. Hands down, pissing them off. But the one thing that they don't understand is the lore of Star Wars. And I'm sure that people are going to see this or write about it and go, oh, yeah, this and that and that. Chill out. What they're
things being said online, some of them were dead on, but some of them were so far off that even I wanted to comment on them and tell them how freaking stupid they were being.
Hands down. Because they really are being dimwits. Yeah. The fact is, they want it to be one way, and it's not the way they think it's going. And I'm sorry, but...
And they don't like it.
But what they're doing is absolutely amazing.
Oh, and everything that they're opening up with what they're doing in the storylines, and not just in Ahsoka, in Obi-Wan, in Mandalore, or Mandalorian, and all the other ones, they are opening so many things up to be able to keep the story of Star Wars going.
Yes.
Because it would be so easy to make it to where they just couldn't go anywhere else with it.
Oh, yeah. Hands down.
But the way they're looking at everything and the way they're doing everything, well, I won't say everything, but the way they're doing the majority of it is, and what are my things? Give me the background, give me the storyline, and give me possibilities.
Yes.
And they're doing all of that and then some in this series.
So Lady Death says 5 lightsabers. I wonder what Will gives it out of scale of 1 to 5. JT obviously broke the scale with 6. So yay.
Nakai also says this is her favorite episode.
It's good. It's really good.
This episode was better than every other episode of Mandalorian except when they saw the creature under the water.
That's bold words, my friend. Very bold words.
Especially coming from me.
Yeah. I like it. Well, my friends, the next episode of Ahsoka is episode 6, which will be coming out tomorrow. What a great
9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, folks.
Will gives it a 5 also, so topping the charts.
Good man, Will.
We're topping the charts on this one. So the next episode comes out tomorrow. Disney Plus, Lucasfilm, and Star Wars do not sponsor this show, but it would be a godsend dream if they did. Because I'd be like, yo, get Disney Plus all the time, because that's the way it works.
Hey, Ian, you got contacts, don't you?
That'd be cool. Just saying. But when it comes down to this episode, we are done for the day. So,
man, epic.
With that being said, we are live tomorrow for the Sully Show birthday stream. Yeah. Goodbye, 42. Hello, 43. It'll be wonderful.
Oh, man. I still got 11 years on your ass.
Yes, you do. You old fart. But for myself and the Redneck JT, I will say we will see you tomorrow for the Sully Show at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for 2 Ewoks in the Park. Have a great night, and may the Force be with you. See what I
and Ian, when you watch it tomorrow and you message me, don't ruin nothing for me.
Yeah. Shut your mouth. We love you. Bye. Oh, that's the wrong button.
Oopsie.
This is the button I want. There we go.
Oh, man. Hey, dude, this...
Hold on. We got to do the outro music. Hold on.